Major James C. Smith, A Leader with a Heart of Valor, written by Shai Smith. James C. Smith was born on September 8, 1957, in Ardmore, Oklahoma, to James W. Smith and Mary Kate Smith. His father served in the U.S. Air Force as a C-130 aircraft maintenance technician for 25 years and retired as a master sergeant. He devoted 29 years as a civilian in the same profession and made several recommendations on improving aircraft performance and reliability. James's father's contributions were valuable in keeping the C-130 aircraft as an essential, valuable military airlift platform to this very day. James's mother, Mary Kate, demonstrated the utmost degree of love for her family, country, and internal strength as a traditional military wife who traveled alongside her husband to numerous U.S. Air Force bases throughout America, including the following: Ardmore Air Force Base, Oklahoma; Shaw Air Force Base, South Carolina; Hill Air Force Base, Utah; Dover Air Force Base, Delaware; and Pope Air Force Base, North Carolina, to which a child was born at almost each location aforementioned. Mary Kate also joined her husband during his overseas deployment at Clark Air Base, the Philippines. During her husband's numerous overseas deployment missions, she remained strong for her family by upholding the parental responsibilities with her faith anchored in the Lord for the safe return of her husband from countries entrenched in conflict, such as South Korea, Vietnam, and Taiwan, as well as other countries fighting for their independence and stability, such as the Democratic Republic of Congo, Brazil, Norway, Spain, and the Ascension Islands. James inherited both parents' genetic disposition and characteristics, which readily translates in layman's terms to mean he inherited the best of both worlds. He is an inherent leader, following the footprints of his dad by exercising calm, rational thinking during life's ever-evolving circumstances and crises. He is also dependable, honest, and upright, with solid record of stellar accomplishments through remaining focused on the mission. Yet, he also has the characteristics of his beloved mother of being kind-hearted, selfless, and a peacemaker. Irrespective of people's station in life, James treats everyone with dignity, kindness, and respect. In essence, he is a leader with a heart of valor. James C. Smith was the typical military brat, accompanying his parents and siblings to Air Force bases throughout America and the world. In fact, he spent his entire childhood and young adulthood entrenched in the nuances of rigorous military training, preparation, and service. There is an adage that states, "A boy's first hero is his father." Indeed, this statement resonates within the Smith family, as James followed his dad's career path by joining the armed forces. James attended Shaw University, graduating summa cum laude. He is a member of the Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity. While at Shaw University, he remained committed to pursuing a military career and enrolled in the Air Force ROTC program at North Carolina State University. Subsequently, James was selected for training on becoming an effective leader through the commander's institutional requirements, the rigorous academic and military standards of the Air Force ROTC program. James successfully graduated from Shaw University and obtained a Bachelor of Arts degree in Mass Communications, while simultaneously fulfilling his goal of being a designated distinguished graduate of the Air Force ROTC program, a notable accomplishment, with only the top 10% of students enrolled in the program reaching this goal. Most notably, James was commissioned into the United States Air Force on May 12, 1979, serving as an Aircraft Maintenance and Munitions Officer, culminating his career at the headquarters of the United States Air Force, the Pentagon. James C. Smith was assigned to Robins Air Force Base, Georgia, and served as a second and first lieutenant. Later, he was assigned to Bentwaters Royal Air Force Base in the United Kingdom, where he served as a first lieutenant and was subsequently promoted to captain. He was also assigned to Hill Air Force Base, Utah. During an era when affirmative action was touted as the basis of admission into the armed forces, James upheld a standard of excellence that was selected by Lieutenant General Bradley Hosmer and Colonel Richard Hellier to serve at the U.S. Air Force Office of the Inspector General, based on merit. Throughout James's tenure in both military and civilian sectors, he's demonstrated sound, effective, and inspirational leadership. For example, James's professional attitude permeated every phase of activity within the assigned unit. As a direct result of James's exemplary leadership, the 19th Munitions Maintenance Squadron experienced a renowned level of excellence within the Strategic Air Command. Moreover, James participated extensively in the critical mission of transporting munitions from the storage area to the flight line and then loading those weapons precisely onto the aircraft. The weapons loaded included bombs, bullets, missiles, and aircraft ammunition. Most notably, during Global Shield, a 1980 to 1981 command-wide readiness exercise, James's leadership effort culminated in meeting and exceeding mission parameters. During the Busy Luggage Bullet Blitz mission in 1980, centered on interfacing live drop of an inert gravity weapon and launch of a short-range attack missile, he directed the preparations onto the aircraft. This exercise proved highly reliable, enabling the aircrew to reap the best score in SAC's history. James remained civically engaged as an active member of the community by participating in the Georgia Special Olympics, annual statewide athletic program for disabled children. Moreover, James has risen above and beyond the call of duty by providing major contributions to the weapons system reliability and the strategic readiness of this nation. This accomplishment of distinction in reference to leading his men to being selected as the best munitions maintenance squadron in SAC underscores Major Smith as a great credit upon himself and the United States Air Force. James received numerous commendations and awards from the United States Air Force. The United States Air Force Commendation Medal with 2 oak leaf clusters, Meritorious Service Medal with 2 oak leaf clusters, Strategic Air Command Giant Sword Weapons Loading Competition Award, and designated for 3 Outstanding Unit Awards. James C. Smith served with distinction on numerous temporary assignments, deployments, operations in the following Air Force bases within the CONUS and overseas: Ellsworth Air Force Base, South Dakota; Shaw Air Force Base, South Carolina; MacDill Air Force Base, Florida; Bergstrom Air Force Base, Texas; Nellis Air Force Base, Nevada; Holloman Air Force Base, New Mexico; Norton Air Force Base, California; Plattsburgh Air Force Base, New York; Lowry Air Force Base, Colorado; Chanute Air Force Base, Illinois; Spangdahlem Air Base, Germany; Ramstein Air Base, Germany; Bitburg Air Base, Germany; Vokel Air Base, the Netherlands; and Misawa Air Base, Japan. If any man desire be first, the same shall be last of all and servant of all. Christ, Mark 9:35. There is no end to the good you can do if you don't care who gets the credit. General Colin Powell. Surround yourself with people who take their work seriously, but not themselves. Those who work hard and play hard. General Colin Powell. Great leaders instill in their people a hope for success and a belief in themselves. Positive leaders empower people to accomplish the mission. As a member of the Soul Train generation, I am principled by the example shown from the men who paved the way. We had good men and mentors ahead of us. Major James C. Smith. It's not about me, it's about the mission. Major James C. Smith. Coincidentally, James is a member of the Soul Train generation, a generation who embody the triple B's: blackness, beauty, and brains. They broke through racial barriers and achieved heights their grandfathers and grandmothers could only dream about. Henceforth, James was no exception to this rule, as he represented the best and brightest. He accomplished great exploits throughout his lifetime, but his favorite role was at Shaw University. Moreover, James held a coveted position as a campus WSHA radio station on-air personality and news reporter. The campus tuned in to James's rich, smooth, and melodic voice, introducing the greatest hits from Cameo, Rick James, the Ohio Players, the Isley Brothers, and George Clinton, in between reading the bulletins from the Associated Press and weather updates. This broadcast was a popular mainstay on campus for the students and faculty alike. In fact, his broadcast show was so well received, he was selected as the 1978 WSHA Announcer of the Year. As an on-campus broadcaster, James made being smart cool. Major James C. Smith was tasked in support of numerous operations throughout America and the world, supporting the United States Air Force's mission of preparedness, equipment readiness, and the development and execution of strategic plans. During his tenure with the United States Air Force, he always led by example service members under his command, upheld a standard of excellence, and maintained an unwavering commitment to the mission. Happy Veterans Day, Major James C. Smith. Our nation has been enriched by your dedication, intelligence, valor, and service.